Lagos was a city that glittered with ambition, wealth, and relentless energy. But even within its vast river of people, one name stood out: Emeka Okafor, the young man whose life seemed sculpted from luxury itself. At 26, Emeka lived in a world of abundance. He was tall, strikingly handsome, and enviably charismatic. His skin was the smooth shade of bronze, his beard perfectly shaped, and his posture carried the confidence of a man who had never known struggle. Everything about him, from his tailored suits to his easy smile, whispered privilege. His family was among Nigeria's most respected and wealthy households. His father, Chief Okafor, was a business magnate with investments spanning oil, real estate, and logistics. His mother, Lady Nena, was admired for her grace, intellect, and philanthropy. His elder siblings were accomplished professionals: a lawyer, a banker, and a medical researcher, each one successful, grounded, and disciplined. Yet Emeka was different. He was the wild flame in a family of steady candles. The one who lived loudly, spent recklessly, and chased pleasure like it was his calling. He resided in a penthouse overlooking Victoria Island, a glass mansion in the sky with marble floors, panoramic windows, and a rooftop pool bathed in golden sunlight. His cars, sleek machines built for speed and admiration, rested beneath the building like loyal soldiers awaiting command. To outsiders, he was the epitome of youthful success. To those who truly loved him, he was a ticking time bomb. Nightfall was Emeka's true kingdom. Lagos came alive under neon lights, and he came alive with it. On a typical Friday night, he and his closest circle of indulgent friends, Dave, Tola, and Chuka, stepped into Club Mirage, a place drenched in violet lights, vibrating music, and the scent of high-end perfume. The moment he walked in, attention gravitated toward him like metal to a magnet. The staff greeted him with immediate familiarity. The VIP section opened the moment he arrived. The energy of the room shifted in his presence. He carried a reputation built on wealth, charm, and lavish spending. Bottles of champagne flowed freely. Music pulsed through the walls like a heartbeat. Women drifted toward him with eager smiles. Some were models with impossibly long legs. Some were socialites chasing glamour. Some were college girls seeking adventure. He loved them all, briefly, shallowly, and without attachment. He flirted with ease, whispered compliments that melted hearts, and lived in the moment with no regard for tomorrow. Money meant nothing to him. Luxury was a language he spoke fluently. Recklessness was his favorite suit. Every night, he fed a hunger he didn't truly understand. And every night, he drifted a little further from himself. While Emeka basked in the glow of nightlife, his family watched with increasing worry. His mother begged him repeatedly, "Emeka, you are losing yourself. Your lifestyle is dangerous. Please slow down." His father confronted him with stern concern. "You are intelligent, gifted, and privileged. Do not throw your future away for temporary pleasure." His siblings each tried to reach him. "Emeka, you are more than this life of indulgence," his brother Shindu said. "One day you will face consequences you cannot escape," Adiz warned. But Emeka dismissed every caution with practiced charm. "I'm fine," he would say with a smile. "I'm young. I'm enjoying life. Nothing will happen." He believed he was untouchable, invincible, immune to consequences. His family's words floated past him like harmless breeze. Little did he know, the storm had already begun forming. The first sign that something was wrong came as unusual fatigue. Emeka attributed it to lack of sleep and shrugged it off. Then came the night sweats. Drenching, persistent, unsettling. He blamed the weather. Soon after, he began losing weight rapidly, his once strong physique growing leaner and more fragile. He convinced himself that it was the gym routine, stress, or temporary illness. But the truth followed him relentlessly. One evening, in the middle of brushing his teeth, he felt the world spin. His knees buckled. He crashed to the bathroom floor, gasping for breath, trembling uncontrollably. Fear gripped him for the first time in years. Something was terribly wrong. His mother insisted he visit the hospital. Too weak to fight her, he agreed. He sat in a private hospital in Ikoyi, his heartbeat loud in his ears. The sterile smell of disinfectant, the quiet hum of machines, and the soft footsteps of nurses felt foreign to him. He was used to the sound of music, laughter, and luxury, not medical corridors and whispered concerns. Blood tests were taken. More examinations followed. Doctors exchanged uncertain glances. Hours later, a doctor and a counselor walked into his room. "Mr. Okafor," the doctor said, gently folding his hands, "we have your results. Please sit down." Emeka's chest tightened. The doctor inhaled slowly, choosing his words with painful precision. "Your test result came back positive for HIV." The world dissolved. The ceiling seemed to tilt. The walls pressed inward. His breath stopped. "No," he whispered. "Please check again. This cannot be. We have confirmed it twice," the doctor said softly. "I am deeply sorry." Everything inside him shattered. He felt hollow, weightless, broken. Images of his past choices rushed forward. Faces of women he barely remembered, nights blurred with alcohol, mornings drenched in recklessness. His family's warnings echoed in his mind. His throat tightened. His eyes burned. And for the first time in adulthood, Emeka wept. Not the silent tears of temporary sadness, but deep, soul-wrenching sobs that came from a place he had never confronted within himself. His parents rushed to the hospital the moment they heard. His mother found him sitting on the bed, face pale, shoulders shaking, tears dried on his cheeks. She placed her hand on his face, her voice trembling. "My son, what has happened?" Emeka could barely speak. I made terrible choices, Mama. And now I am paying for them." When he revealed the diagnosis, the room fell silent. His mother covered her mouth as tears spilled down her face. His father closed his eyes, exhaling a long breath filled with heartbreak. His siblings stood frozen, devastated. But no one shouted. No one blamed him. No one turned away. His father finally spoke, voice heavy but steady. "I warned you, Emeka, not because I wanted to control your life, but because I wanted you to have one." His mother embraced him tightly and whispered, "You will not face this alone. We will walk with you through everything. You are still our son." And for the first time, Emeka realized he had wounded not only himself, but everyone who loved him. He returned home after treatment began. The penthouse that once symbolized freedom now felt like a prison of memories. The walls echoed with the laughter of past parties, and the emptiness around him felt deeper than silence. He shut his curtains, avoided mirrors, ignored calls from friends, turned away from the world that once applauded him. His phone buzzed with messages. Bro, where are you? Tonight is lit. We miss you at the club. Why have you disappeared? He deleted all the messages. He felt ashamed, foolish, exposed. One night, overwhelmed by guilt and fear, he broke down again, falling to his knees, pressing his hands to his face, sobbing uncontrollably. His mother found him and held him tightly. My son, listen to me, she whispered. This diagnosis is not the end of your life. You will survive, you will heal, and you will rise again. He cried into her arms until exhaustion consumed him. It was the lowest point of his life. But sometimes, rock bottom becomes sacred ground. A place where transformation begins. Weeks passed. He attended medical appointments regularly. His body responded to treatment. His strength slowly returned. But something deeper began to heal inside him. He started reading books on discipline, spirituality, forgiveness, and purpose. He journaled every morning, exploring his thoughts and fears. He rediscovered prayer, not as a habit, but as a refuge. One evening, as the sun dipped into the horizon and the ocean glimmered beneath his balcony, he whispered to himself, "If I am given the chance to survive this, I will use my story to save others." For the first time, he felt a spark of hope. Not the fleeting thrill of nightlife, but a deeper, quieter, more powerful flame. A flame of meaning, a flame of purpose, a flame of redemption. And that was the beginning of his transformation. Healing was not instant. It was not easy. It was not glamorous. It was slow, painful, humbling work. Emeka's treatment regimen began with discipline. He had to take his antiretroviral medication every day at the same time. His doctors monitored his viral load, adjusting dosages and watching for side effects. Some days he felt strong, other days he felt weak, nauseous, or emotionally drained. But he fought. For the first time in his life, he fought for something meaningful, his future. His family supported him unwaveringly. His mother prepared his meals, ensuring he ate healthy food to regain weight. His father accompanied him to appointments, asking questions and quietly holding the space for him. His siblings visited regularly, bringing him books, films, and warm company. Yet despite their presence, Emeka faced the hardest battle alone, the battle inside his mind. The shame, the regret, the memories, the grief over the life he once lived and the life he lost. One night, as he sat on his balcony, wrapped in a blanket, he whispered, "I wish I could go back and change everything." But he could not. So he decided to change the only thing he still had power over: his future. After months of consistent treatment, Emeka regained strength. His skin brightened, his cheeks filled out again, and the fatigue gradually lifted. But his emotional and mental healing took longer. He avoided social media, clubs, and old friends. He no longer responded to people from his past life. The nightlife world moved on without him. New faces replaced him, new names dominated the scene. He watched from a distance, realizing how shallow and temporary that world had been. One afternoon, while cleaning out a drawer, he came across an old photograph, him and his friends spraying money, surrounded by women, champagne, and flashing lights. He stared at the picture for a long time. He did not feel pride, or nostalgia, or joy. He felt grief, because he finally understood how empty that life had truly been. He tore the photograph in half. Not out of anger, but out of acceptance. He whispered, "That chapter is over." And he meant it. Emeka began attending counseling sessions regularly, where he learned to confront his guilt and rebuild his self-worth. His counselor, a calm and insightful woman named Drive Kamsi, helped him navigate his trauma. "You survived," she told him gently. "And survival comes with a responsibility. To yourself, and to others." She encouraged him to write about his experience. At first, Emeka resisted. But eventually, he picked up a notebook and wrote the truth he had been hiding. "I was a young man who thought life was a playground. I lived recklessly. I ignored love, advice, and wisdom. And I paid a heavy price. But now, I want to become someone my younger self desperately needed." Writing became therapy. It became clarity. It became the seed of something powerful. One afternoon, while scrolling through his messages, he noticed that several boys from universities had sent him innocent questions long ago. "Bro, how do you balance fun and life? What does success feel like? You seem so confident. What's your secret?" Emeka stared at those old messages with a heavy heart. He realized something profound. Many young people admired him, not for who he was, but for who they thought he was. A carefree, happy, untouchable man. But that image was a lie. A dangerous lie. And suddenly, a thought entered his mind. What if I told them the truth? What if my story could save someone else from repeating my mistakes? The idea grew inside him like a spark catching fire. He felt his heart beat with a new rhythm, one he had never known. Purpose. Real, meaningful purpose. After nearly a year of treatment, learning, healing, and transformation, Emeka stood in front of his mirror one morning and truly looked at himself. He saw a man with strength in his eyes. A man who had walked through fire and survived. A man who was no longer defined by his past. His viral load had become undetectable. His health had stabilized. His life had direction. But the next step terrified him. He wanted to speak publicly. He wanted to help young men and women avoid the path he once walked. He wanted to share the truth he once hid behind wealth and pleasure. But sharing his story meant exposing his deepest pain. One evening, he told his family, "I want to start speaking to young people about my journey, my mistakes, and my diagnosis." His mother reached for his hand. "Are you sure, my son? That is a brave step." His father nodded. "The strength to change is admirable. The courage to teach others is extraordinary." His siblings encouraged him, their eyes filled with pride. And so, Emeka took the step that would redefine his entire future. He began by reaching out to a youth organization in Lagos, one that held seminars addressing peer pressure, lifestyle, and self-esteem. The coordinator agreed to give him a chance. When the day came, Emeka walked into a hall filled with nearly 200 young people. They whispered excitedly, recognizing him as the once famous playboy of Lagos nightlife. But the man who stood before them was not the man they thought they knew. He introduced himself slowly, breathing through the waves of emotion. "My name is Emeka Okafor, and I am here to share a story I once wished no one would ever hear." The room fell silent. He spoke of his childhood, his privilege, and the dangerous path he had chosen. He described his nightlife in honest, unglorified terms. He spoke of the thrill, the emptiness, the peer pressure, the false sense of invulnerability. Then he paused, and he told them the truth. I contracted HIV because of irresponsible choices. It has been the most painful lesson of my life, but it has also transformed me into a new man. Gasps filled the room, but more importantly, silence followed. A deep, respectful, emotional silence. Emeka continued, voice steady. HIV is not the end of life. Shame is not the end of life. Mistakes are not the end of life. But ignorance is deadly. Please, value your body, your future, and your dignity. You deserve a beautiful life. Do not destroy it the way I almost destroyed mine. When he finished, the hall erupted in applause. Not applause of entertainment, but applause of admiration, respect, and gratitude. Young people lined up to speak to him afterward, many with tears in their eyes. Some hugged him, some whispered thank you, some confessed their own struggles. That night, Emeka went home with a heart full of something he had never truly felt before. Fulfillment. After that first speech, invitations poured in. Universities, church conferences, youth groups, community programs, corporate mentorship events. People wanted to hear him. People trusted him. People saw him as a symbol of redemption and courage. He transformed his story into structured lessons. Self-control, discipline, sexual responsibility, mental health, purpose, identity, decision-making, faith, health awareness. Young men especially gravitated toward him. They saw themselves in him. They saw the glamour he had once lived and the downfall that followed. They listened because he spoke their language, understood their temptation, and lived their consequences. With time, he became one of the most respected motivational speakers in Nigeria. Then in Africa, then internationally, not because he was perfect, but because he told the truth. Years passed. Emeka founded a foundation dedicated to educating youths on responsible living, providing support for individuals living with HIV, and offering counseling for those struggling with identity, addiction, or peer pressure. His story spread far beyond Lagos. He appeared on talk shows, documentaries, conferences, and global youth summits. He became a beacon of hope, a living testimony that mistakes do not have to define a person. A reminder that healing and redemption are possible for anyone. One evening, after a powerful seminar with thousands of young attendees, Emeka stood backstage, overwhelmed with emotion. His father joined him, placing a firm hand on his shoulder. "I am proud of you, my son," Chief Okafor said quietly. "Not because of your fame or success, but because you became a man of purpose." Emeka's eyes filled with tears, not of pain this time, but of gratitude. His mother hugged him tightly. His siblings smiled brightly. His life had come full circle. On the 20th anniversary of World AIDS Day, Emeka delivered a speech that would become one of his most quoted messages. Standing before a global audience, he said, "Life is not defined by how high you climb, how much you own, or how loudly the world applauds you. Life is defined by the lessons you learn, the choices you make, and the impact you leave behind. I once lived for pleasure. Today, I live for purpose. I once chased admiration. Today, I chase wisdom. I once ran from consequences. Today, I teach others to avoid them. If my story saves even one young person from losing themselves, then everything I endured was worth it. Please. Protect your body. Protect your future. Protect your destiny. You only get one life. Do not gamble with it the way I did.